everyone, and thank you for making time to watch one of our Practice 42 Insider Tip videos. Right now, this is part one of a four-part series that we're talking about your first appointment process. And, right now we're in the time of pandemic, so we're discussing the pandemic a lot with our clients and also our potential clients. But that being said, it's not just, I believe, a pandemic issue. And so what do I mean by that? We've been talking a lot to people about why is their first appointment process not as successful as they want it to be. And so what does that mean? So maybe it's not successful because you're not getting the clients you want. Maybe it's not successful because you are not having the clients you want for the right services. Maybe you have different services and different people who are meeting those needs. Maybe you have potential clients who are unwilling to pay for your services. Maybe you have potential clients who are not easily managed. They're asking for things that are consistently outside the scope of work for what you offer in your law practice contract or your retainer agreement. We've heard a lot of these challenges from our clients and then others that we work with. And it's only, I would say, increased during the pandemic because, of course, during the pandemic, there's this gap in communication. It can be harder to get in front of our clients or harder to get their attention, or there are different challenges with communication. All of this can be overcome. But one of the big things that we've been talking about since the pandemic started is were your closure rates, were your intake processes, were they as good as they could be before the pandemic, or is this really a new problem? So that's one of the first questions we're asking in that evaluation are things different from the pandemic forward? And then if they are, how are we troubleshooting that? Is it a matter of how are you communicating with your support staff? Is it a matter of your messaging? Is it a matter of your response time? There are countless surveys that people want, in the legal field specifically, people want to have a same-day response, if not a minute-by-minute response, if not an hourly response. Clients want good education. Potential clients want good education. Your referral partners want good education. And it's really important that we're giving them the information that they need. But in this part one discussion of your bringing in new clients, of your first appointment process and really your closure rates, the first question is to take off the rose-colored glasses. I don't know how to say that better. We've heard so much recently from clients that things were better in March, better last year, better in 2018. That could be true. That absolutely could be true. But we have to have the data to back that up. So in your first appointment process, I really want you to start the conversation, this part one, of thinking about your first appointment process, not tied to the pandemic. Your closure rate should not be tied to the pandemic. How are they quarter by quarter, month by month? Are you gathering the data that you need? And often when we ask this very intentional question of our clients, they're unable to tell us. They cannot tell us that of what it looked like in January of 2020, before the pandemic got here. They are unable to answer that question. We have to have that data. Clients come in cycles. There may be months in your community that are more popular for people to be out and about. I live in Florida. When I was practicing law, the summer was the worst time to have people come in because it's hot and people didn't want to come in. However, by contrast, our fall was booked constantly. So very important that we're thinking about this, and we're thinking about not our offices in light of the pandemic, but how are our processes for this appointment, for getting people in the door and closing that. So the first thing I'm going to start you with is data. And so if you're in a law practice management software, we need to make sure that we're able to capture that data right when that first phone call starts. This is part one, getting the data that you need and having candid and effective evaluation. If you don't have that in your process, if you don't have this way of reporting on things, we don't know how to make improvements. And so we cannot just kind of put our feelings to it. We need to actually have the data to know, was this a good client? Did they check all the boxes before they came in? A potential client, did they check all the boxes so we wanted them to hire us? We then need to store that information so we can evaluate it over time. So number one on this process is getting the data that we need and storing it. And even if you don't have law practice management software, that's just fine. Get out a piece of paper that you can then write down where the person came from, what their questions were, how they came to you, how they found you, what was the conversation like. The more data we can get, the better. We need to do a demographic study, a client avatar. My ideal client is this. And then we build it out so we know what that person is. And we need to know if the people who are moving forward with you or not moving forward with you fit that avatar, that we're getting that information. And we want to store their objections as much as we store their success rates. So again, pen and paper is fine, an Excel spreadsheet is fine, but if you have your law practice management software, not all of them can do this. A number of them can, though. We need to be able to run an effective report on what that looks like in your practice. So tip one, make sure we have the data. Don't look at things with the COVID pandemic glasses. We need to just look at your processes year after year, month after month, to see what your closure processes look like. So that's my starting point for this one. I apologize. I didn't start with my name. For those of you this is the first Practice 42 Insider Tip you're watching. My name is Audrey Ehrhardt. I'm the founder and CEO of Practice 42. I look forward to you looking at this 4-part series, but know when we're thinking about your closure rates, your first appointment process, and we're really getting nitty gritty here, the first thing that we are talking about is data. Do we have the data we need to make intentional decisions? And if we don't have the data that we need, you need to get that data. So reach out to me, let me know, hit subscribe on our YouTube channel for more tips. Keep on watching this 4-part series, or don't hesitate to reach out to us at Practice 42. You can reach out to us on our website, practice42.com/contact us. You can also call us 850-933-5072. You can like, comment, subscribe here, but I really want you dialed in here so we know what data is for your practice, and then how can we make intentional decisions. And if you don't have the tools that you need, schedule a free strategy session with me or any of our technology coaches, and let's really make a difference on this and focus on what this looks like for you and your firm. All right.
Practice 42, building successful law practices nationwide. We want you to let us help you reach your goals for success.